Welcome to Robert Sports Show and the 2015 American League National League Division Series Preview. As a baseball fan, I look forward to opening day and the playoffs. Especially when your favorite teams are in the playoffs, it makes it a little bit better. Like I said before in the wild card preview, I've been a Kansas City Royals fan for 30 years. Since like 84, 85-ish. So it's just tickle to death, back-to-back playoff years for them. First time in a long time. First time in 30 years that we're back-to-back in the playoffs. So it's great to see. It's great to experience. Living in the St. Louis area for 14 years. Cardinal fan for 14 years. Been a Braves fan for as long, if not longer, watching WTBS. So let's kind of cover those wild card games. Houston and Chicago, just like I said. Winning those games. Just the pitching. Jake Arrieta, oh my God. He's this year's Madison Bumgarner on playoffs. So, yeah. Doug Keuchel, or if that's for Houston, another fantastic start for him. So I guess there's our World Series, ladies and gentlemen. Houston Astros, Chicago Cubs. Last year, the winners of the wild card were in the World Series. The last three World Series champions have came out of the wild card. So I guess we're done. I wish it was that simple. It is, but it's not, I guess. But moving on. We got Houston, Kansas City, and Toronto and Texas. American League, National League. We have Chicago, St. Louis. Oh Lord, Cubs Cardinals rivalry, especially in October. Wow. St. Louis and Chicago both be hopping for that one. And then the other side, we have New York Mets back in the playoffs versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hey, how about that? We have a potential of a complete rematch from 30 years ago. 85 NLCS was the Dodgers Cardinals. 85 ALCS was the Toronto Blue Jays and the Kansas City Royals. Before I break all these teams down, like I said, I've been a baseball fan for 30 years. I remember being a 8-year-old little kid out in the yard throwing the ball, trying to be Brett Saberhagen of the Royals, Mark Gubazal, Dan Quisenberry. I'd grab a bat and try to be George Brett, trying to run like Willie Wilson and play like Frank White and Steve Bye-Bye Balboni and John Wathan, Darryl Porter, and just all that Royals from that era. You know what? Deep down, we're all little kids. We're all that 8-year-old watching baseball and not worrying about, ERA and innings and wins and losses and WAR and the whip and all these stats. So you know what? Forget the numbers. I want to talk in this video like numbers don't exist. What I want as a baseball fan, 30 years later, I want 85 all over again. So in the American League, Kansas City, Houston, Kansas City wins. Toronto Blue Jays and Texas Rangers, Toronto wins. ALCS, Toronto Blue Jays, Kansas City Royals. For the National League, Cardinals, Cubs, Cardinals win. The other game, the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Mets. As we all know, the Dodgers have Clayton Kershaw. Dodgers win. But guess what? What's Clayton Kershaw's kryptonite in the playoffs? The St. Louis Cardinals. So then, ladies and gentlemen, World Series 2015, the St. Louis Cardinals, Kansas City Royals. So I can be that 8-year-old little kid again, staying up late, watching these World Series games, and having that moment, a second time in my lifetime, when, if you remember, Brett Saberhagen, unheralded, sophomore sensation, 11-0 victory in Game 7. Not predicting the score, don't get me wrong, but the moment when Brett Saberhagen finished that game, the fly ball to right field, and you got George Brett going over to Brett Saberhagen, wanting to celebrate, and Saberhagen starting to jump in George's arms, and George going, wait. Darryl Motley in right field, squeezed the ball, jumped up. Brett Saberhagen, George Brett just embraced. The pile began. The first ever World Championship for Kansas City Royals, 1985. Here we are 30 years later. So guess what? Alex Rios catches the fly ball and right. Mike Moustakas, Moose at third base. And you have Wade Davis or Kevin Herrera closing it out. The same embrace. Salvador Perez runs out, just like John Watson did. I think it was John Watson was catching then. So, why not? Why not do it all over again? 85 World Series, 2015, same outcome. Kansas City Royals, world champions. Thanks for watching Robert Sports Show and have a spiffy night. Robert Sports Show, your U2 leader in sports channels. For all the 8-year-old little baseball fans watching the World Series, here you go. See you for a preview of the World Series. Don't need to preview the Championship Series now. See you for the preview of the World Series. Thanks.